Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here, and I hope you're enjoying your sort of pseudo holiday. It seems like half the world is working today and half aren't. And we're probably not going to do something tomorrow. We might, but I'd like to spend some time with the kids. So we've got a pretty big list here. We've got about 35 homes coming basically throughout the whole weekend. And who says it's not a great time to list a home on a long weekend? So I'll give you some of the highlights from this list. McJanet's not bad. I think the price is probably a little bit high, but this is a 1051 square foot home. Very popular with first-time buyers. 2 bedrooms. There's no condo fees attached to something like this. Normally they're selling now in the sort of 330 to 340 range. They're just aiming on the high end of that. Prosser Circle is 414.9, and really for this one here, I think they missed the mark. I think being under 400 is probably the right place for this one. It's 1130 square feet plus the basement. And we've got Mowat Lane, which is a front back. You can see the Bristol on Main development behind. So it has a front door or this is the front door. It has a back door that backs onto Main. And it's kind of like 2 entrances. That's why I call it the front back house. It is very open inside. There's a big open concept design, almost like a tigerwood floor there. It's big. It's 4 bedrooms. You've got your finished basement, but I think at 430, I know for me, I would sacrifice a little bit of size so I wouldn't have that Main Street right behind me. So there's a convenient location here, close to Main and Thompson, which is the library, the GO train, the Center for the Arts. All kinds of stuff is nearby here. The parks, the schools are all good. You can walk up to Home Depot. You can go to restaurants, the movie theater. It's all within walking distance from here. So great location to get to access to amenities. I don't love the fact it backs onto Main Street. I've talked about that many times with those homes. 702 Asselton dropped their price by $10,000. It's an open concept layout. It's clean and tidy, and they've got the finished basement, which is done by the builders, and you're just putting a fence in there. So Edwards is 439. It's about 1380 square feet. And you've got a bit of crown moldings. The pictures are low res, but it's called the Lake Point model. And it looks like it's in pretty good shape. They've kept it well. The light fixtures is usually a sign that somebody has gone in and not just done the basics, that they actually cared about the impression for the rooms. And there's a finished basement here too. So we did see one with a finished basement go up in the 430s recently. Maybe aiming a little bit high, but it's certainly possible for them to get that price. This one on Thompson is the same model, and it's 444.9, and it has a finished basement. However, I would take Edwards over Thompson any day of the week, and as they say, twice on Sundays. It's you'll get much more traffic noise here. The other thing I'd be concerned with is you can kind of see this little blurry part of the roof here. That looks like an old roof. I bet you it's probably going to need replacing very, very soon. So that's something to definitely consider. The home is probably, I would say, getting close to about 10 years old by this time. Wise Crossing is 1987 square feet. Semi-detached called the Mattamy Southbury model. 444.9 does not seem too bad at all. These models have gone over 450, I would say pretty consistently over the last 6 months. And it's a little plain inside, but I think that you could dress this one up and you can really kind of turn this one into a gem. Elmwood is 464.9, kind of a classic bungalow look. It's more of an original kitchen. We haven't seen a lot of bungalows sell this year. I mean, they were floating around the 430, 440 range for something similar to this, probably at the start of this year, but there really haven't been many comparable sales. That, my friends, is a bidet, and we got to appreciate that. Bit of shag carpeting in the basement, which is actually very much in style right now. And a 60 by 120 foot lot and a big front porch. So there's a lot going for this one at the 464. We saw some of the more renovated ones. That's really the last few sales has been renovated bungalows on Kingsley Court that looked better than this, but actually the renos weren't done that well. So if you peek a little further in, they kind of needed to be redone anyway. So let's see what happens with that one on Elmwood. So Cox is 474.9, and it's a back split, slightly different than a bungalow. So you've got a couple stairs up, couple stairs down. and it's 4 different levels, and there's almost always a crawl space in the split level models. Deceiving how much space these ones have. So that's really one of their differences, is that you get a lot more space for the same money. Doesn't seem like it's that far off to me. Azleton is $474.9. So we've got a townhouse here, and it says it's more than 2,000 square feet, although that's probably including the builder finished basement. And it's hard to tell from this one without knowing the exact square footage. Manley Lane is $475, so we're a semi-detached. We're dealing with that same kind of front back that we were talking about a little bit earlier on in the episode. Beaty Trail is $519. This one to me is one of the best deals of the day or the weekend. Nice renovated finishes, 1,900 square feet. Plus you've got a finished basement. And these regularly will go in the 520s, so I think that they have a lot to offer here. It's been kept well. You've got a bit of a bonus deck and a nice looking backyard here, a little bit of privacy from your neighbors, and this one is a deal. If you scoop this for asking, you're going to be very thankful in probably a very short period of time. Bustle's around the same size as the previous, a little bit smaller, about 1,800 square feet. And so you've got your living dining in the front, plus your kitchen with a half wall opening to the family room. 3 bedrooms upstairs, plus there's a computer loft. And then you're backing onto forest, which is nice. Now, if you examine a little further back is the train tracks. So you do hear the train here. Probably cancels each other out in terms of value. So the plus of having no neighbors behind might sort of be a negative when you look at the noise ramifications of those train tracks. So probably do 2 cars parking in the driveway. And $529. I sold one last year with a finished basement at $539 that looked really nice. A bit of oil staining in the driveway, so I don't know how this one would show in person. We look for little clues like that in the pictures to indicate how people have kept the home. Fourth line is basically land value, 200 by 218 at $529. Seems a little bit high. The thing is, buying vacant land, you need usually a higher down payment because it's kind of dead land to a bank. Unless you can convince them you're going to live in the home, even though the listing clearly states the house is sold in as-is condition. So anyway, it's 4th line and lower baseline. There's another really big daddy home on 6th line and lower baseline we're going to look at. Seems like there's a lot of people selling around that lower baseline right now. There's a lot of transition. They've changed the road around, allowed for better access. And it will be a busier street as we start to see the Boyne survey continue down to Britannia. Lederman is 1,835 square feet, upgraded countertops, nice cream cabinets, good looking floors. But without the finished basement, we've seen this model sell for less than this. And so it faces a pond and a park and everything else. But the real advantage, the real value booster is when you actually have it behind you. So facing might get you probably a half to a quarter of the value that having it behind would give you. So Costigan is, let me go back to the first picture here. This is actually a home that we put out. So it's right in a quiet part of Costigan, a little bit busier, closer to Thompson. A little further east, you find it's quieter. A true double car garage, because there's a lot of double garages now in the new areas like the Plan 5 corners that aren't real 2-car garages. Nice open front foyer. You have a dining room, plus you have a kitchen open to the family room, and everything is very clean and tidy here. Gas fireplace. There's 3 bedrooms plus a loft upstairs, and you've got these really full height nice windows in the basement. The yard is 100 feet deep. Compare that to Mattamy at about maybe 80 to 85 feet. And there's a lot of trees here which create a good level of privacy in this home. So it really has some of the advantages of an old Milton home. The other thing, it's all brick too, which you don't see a lot in these lists here. So $545 to me. I think it's a great price. There was a very nice competitor on one of the side streets in the neighborhood that listed at $535, and I'm pretty sure that one's sold by now, but that was a good competitor. Cahoon was $559, or is $559, pardon me. And it looks like one of the Mattamy corners. I believe this one is close to 2,000 square feet, and we don't have any pictures yet. You can check the link for the updated pictures. There's 9-foot ceilings. It's not really a premium corner lot because this home only comes on a corner lot, and it looks like we've got some hardwood floors here. That's all I can tell you basically for now. London, I think, is around 2,100 square feet, 579.8. And it can be a little tricky to sell a vacant house, especially when your hood doesn't match your appliances in the kitchen. And the advantage, the selling feature on this one is you've got that separate entrance down to the basement. Good for potential in-law suite. It's also good for a home-based business. That's really the only thing you're seeing here that you're not getting with a lot of the other ones in the range. Kelman Court is 605, so it's an Aspen model. And it's only 1,900 square feet, no finished basement, standard lot. I don't think they've got the juice to play over 600. Usually you're looking at least 200, 300, 400 square feet bigger than this one for around the same price. Kelman is a very quiet street, but I just don't think that number is going to work for them. The first number, I think, to get some action on that would have to be a 5. Armstrong is 624, 999. And Armstrong can get very busy. It's really the only way to get into the subdivision off of Derry between Thompson and 4th Line. So it's there are a lot of cars that go through this. I pretty much travel Armstrong at least a couple times a day. It's an open concept main floor, 4 bedrooms upstairs. I kind of think there's better value in the price range. The finished basement does help them. This one here on Dixon, the layout is better in person. This looks like they're about 2 feet away, but you come in the front door, you've got a separate living room with a nice 18-foot ceiling here, dining room, then it opens up to the family room. The kitchen's in the back corner here. It's a very nice floor plan. They do have some cosmetic things that, like, the paint is not doing anything for this model, I'll tell you that for sure. The kitchen, they don't even have a fridge in here. They've got everything is a little too white. The green carpet is probably pretty low on people's desirability list. So 637.5, it needs a lot of work. It's one of the larger homes in under 650, but I really think they're going to have to do a little bit better there to really make it happen. Hem Street is 658. You're 2,600 square feet. Maybe aiming a little bit high for what you're getting here. I think that you can find that size for a little bit less than this one. We've seen some of the Mattamy Wood Lilies even go for like 620, 630. Trudeau is 2,720 square feet. It's called a Mannington Corner, 694.9. And they have a finished basement with a kitchen or some kind of in-law suite there. I don't know. I think it probably needs to look a little bit better to get that kind of price. This one here on Winters, 3,600 square feet. This is the same floor plan that Mattamy had as one of their model homes. It's called the Stanbury model. And you either like this model or you can't deal with it. The breakfast area has a large sort of vaulted ceiling here. There's a little den upstairs plus 4 bedrooms. There's all kinds of upstairs configurations for this one. You can do 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms. The master suite's huge, and there's a whole separate area here. So if you wanted an office, an exercise room, it's all right there. It's like a little parlor. Big bedrooms in this one here. And they put a bit of work in the back. Not sure if it's all interlock or if there's any grass. Usually people like to see a balance of both. And you've got a long driveway here too. Private to come in and park your car in here. There's a side entrance. Really neat layout. So if you type in Mattamy Stanbury in Google, you can probably find the floor plan. Roe was in the news last week. Apparently there was a shooting where it started on Roe and it moved over to Wettlaufer. You do get nice views of the escarpment here. And it's a good looking home too. Here's the problem I have with it. So 238 Row right here. Big community park, which I don't know that if they really capitalized on the on talking about that huge park right here. But here's the thing, 238, this land is sort of future development with the possibility of being a gas station. So whatever you back onto, yeah, you've got great views now of the escarpment, but you definitely want to make some inquiries about what is in the backyard, what's going to happen there. And I don't know if there's that stigma factor. I think it was an isolated incident in terms of the shooting, but I don't know. I mean, it's, people get weird about that kind of stuff. Cusick is almost 4,000 square feet at $898, and we don't have any pictures to go by, so it's very hard to tell anything about this one. It would be leaning, you got to be special to be over 9. There was a time when the homes were selling over 9. I don't want to say easily, but they happened with a lot more regularity even a couple of years ago than they happen now. It almost seems like now it's like you're sort of 800, 850 on the high end, or the extreme edges. There's a couple going for over $1 million, like the prize home on Savaline. This one on 6th Line is 2.69. And it's got a lot of space. It's a 2-acre property. Here's the thing that I don't like about this. Medieval meets modern. Here's the thing. When you think medieval, does it give you good connotations? In my mind, it's a harsh time with black plagues, and it was like Game of Thrones. So is that really the best thing to talk about? I don't think medieval, like even if you say like, I'm going to go medieval on his ass, like that's not, it doesn't have good connotation. So I know what they're trying to say, but it's almost like you could kind of say castle, or you could take a different angle on that. Medieval is actually a word that I think may not be helping their marketing. So 130 Robert is 409, and I knew this would happen as soon as I saw it. I go, it's going to sell quick. This is a nice little pocket that not a lot of people know about. It's not far from the fairgrounds. By the way, they're doing Canada Day at the fairgrounds, so that's a great little thing to check out. So there is some condo fees attached to this one here. $251 a month. It includes the exterior maintenance, parking, that kind of thing. But they're tucked away. It's quiet. They're well kept. They're not that old. And the best thing is some of them are actually backing onto, like if you look at what's behind here, you've got beautiful trees here. You've got nice open green space and lots of nice gardens, and people take good care of their places. So this is a great option, especially when you look at some of the Mattamy homes that maybe don't have the condo fees, but this one is in a great location. You can walk right up to Main Street here. Great access for the farmers market, for restaurants. And would you pay a $250 a month premium to live that? Some people definitely would. So that is an excellent property. Megan Way is $499. And so we're looking at a home, I believe it is, let me just have a look here. It's the Lindsay model. So it is a 4-bedroom, which means it's 1,800 square feet. And a lot of people will say to me, hey, Chuck, how do you know all this stuff? Been around long enough. We know most of the models. Definitely the Mattamy ones. No doubt about it. We are on top of that. Price seems okay. Willow is $515. It's a bungalow. What I like about this kind of design, and I've talked about this in other videos, if you have parents that are a little bit older, they can park their car in the driveway, they can come directly through the garage, and they can have a basement suite that requires 0 stairs. So it can be a real advantage to have this when you're talking about people who are having a bit of trouble with stairs, and then you can live on the upstairs here. It is nicely renovated. We haven't really seen this style of home because it's not a huge house. It's not as big as the side splits or the 2 stories. It's a bungalow with basement underneath. We haven't really seen them go over 5, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. It is in good shape. It backs onto green space. It backs onto Melanie Park. And yeah, let's see. It's got a lot of things going for it, but time will tell about the price. And Macduff is it doesn't have any pictures. It's also a 4-bedroom Lindsay model, and it says something about a partly finished basement on this one. The price at first glance seems like they're maybe aiming a little bit high, especially when we look at that one that's at $519 that we showcased earlier in the video. So that's a long list of homes. I apologize for the length, but if you're off work and you're bored, maybe you watch the whole thing. If you made it to this point, thanks for watching. We'll see you probably not tomorrow, but the next day after with more Milton Daily Homes.